When you think of Pittsburgh, you might think of the city of bridges, the championship football team, the Permane Brothers sandwich. But what about the Pittsburgh left? It's a courtesy turn, given to people in the left-hand turning lane by the opposing traffic. It's a staple of Pittsburgh traffic culture, just as much as jaywalking or unnecessarily slowing down in the Fort Pitt tunnels. But if you go outside of Pittsburgh, even as close as State College, the Pittsburgh left is non-existent and, as I recently discovered, can lead to a dangerous situation. Risk management is the process of controlling financial and personal injury losses from sudden, unforeseen, and unusual accidents and intentional torts. The process itself is instrumental in identifying dangerous situations before they occur in an attempt to avoid injury, prevent lawsuits, and maintain an enjoyable and safe environment for participants. For example, the intersection of Curtin Road and University Drive on Penn State's University Park campus is a high-traffic area. Curtin comes straight off of North Campus heading toward Beaver Stadium, and University Drive connects College Avenue and Park Avenue, basically encircling the campus. Student commuters and faculty park in the lots next to Beaver Stadium, and all 4 campus bus routes pass through this intersection. The effect of the vehicular traffic is exacerbated by the thousands of people who cross these roads to get to and from campus. As I recently discovered as a first-person user, not every lane of traffic has a designated traffic light, which can lead to hesitation, uncertainty, and frustration among travelers through the intersection. The committee should consider studying the intersection further to determine how frequent potential accidents can occur. Safety is of the utmost priority, and stalled traffic caused by a lack of clear traffic signals can create a severely dangerous situation for motorists and pedestrians alike. The risk itself is a public liability caused by negligence. The design of the intersection, more than likely organized and executed by the Master Planning Department in the university's Office of the Physical Plant. The civil engineers and the master planners who contributed to the recommendation and installation of traffic lights did not take into consideration the lack of clarity instilled in drivers by not having enough traffic lights. Specifically, the eastbound lanes of Curtin Road feature 3 lanes, 1 left, 1 straight, and 1 right. There are only 2 traffic lights, however, which produce solid colors and no arrow signs. Making a left-hand turn here can be difficult. One might try to race ahead of the oncoming traffic, as in the Pittsburgh left example, while others might be forced to wait until all traffic is passed, creating a situation where someone could be stuck at an intersection for several minutes until they finally get frustrated enough to dart ahead, cross oncoming traffic, and potentially come into contact with pedestrians in the parallel crosswalk. Thankfully, the risk can be reduced through physical work and better user-oriented considerations. First, formal awareness of the situation must be reported to the Office of the Physical Plant through video, photographic, and testimonial evidence. Motorists and pedestrians alike can share stories about incidents and near incidents that have transpired at this intersection. Again, this is a risk of public liability caused by negligence in the design phase, so the public would be a great resource for additional information. The next step would be to evaluate the risk. It is important to determine how often incidents have occurred and further evaluate the potential severity that can ensue. The most tragic situation would be a vehicle to pedestrian collision, which is not out of the realm of possibilities when combining a frustrated motorist and a pedestrian walking through an open crosswalk. The intent at this point is to reduce the risk as much as possible. Some accidents are entirely unavoidable, but an attempt to reduce the risk in comparison to transferring or retaining it would be the most worthwhile to pursue. Insurance policies or waivers for a public setting of this kind would not be feasible, and it is not wise to let a potentially dangerous situation go untreated. In order to reduce the risk most effectively, the committee and master planners should strongly consider creating an equal number of traffic lights for turning lanes at this intersection. An imbalance in these 2 figures leads to confusing traffic patterns, leaving vehicles stalled in front of crosswalks, standing in the middle of an intersection, or speeding through crosswalks to avoid vehicular collisions. Implementing the plan would require temporary construction efforts to install additional traffic lights on the existing wires. Thankfully, the infrastructure is already in place, and no road markings have to be repainted or shifted. This is more than likely the most cost-effective risk implementation plan to do, considering the short-term labor and minimal physical product required to complete the initiative. To measure the impact of this change, it would be wise to send a survey to the university community about the changes and have people reflect on their perceptions of the new traffic signals. This would hopefully contribute to an increased awareness and appreciation of safety across campus and potentially motivate the Office of the Physical Plant to analyze other high-traffic intersections in an attempt to mitigate further accidents and associated risks.